The idea that you should diversify your portfolio is considered investing 101. It is touted by Warren Buffett, financial advisors, and people who are way more qualified to talk about this than I am. But that doesn't mean that it's the best strategy for you. In this video, we're going to talk about the nuances of this advice and why diversification often isn't the best strategy, but why it could still be the best strategy for you. I also just have to put in a real quick disclaimer here that this video is not financial advice. It's just my opinions that I've formulated from experience, and I'm just sharing those thoughts with you. Take what you will from it and learn what you can, but it's not financial advice. For this advice in particular, the devil really does live in the details. And I think a lot of people hear this advice at face value and don't really think about it or take the time to understand what it means. So that's what I'm hoping to do in this video, is really give you a clear idea and deep understanding of this advice. Ultimately, every investment is a balance between risk and reward. When you invest money now, you hope that it will become more money later. Money now has zero risk because you have it. You won't just instantaneously or spontaneously lose it. When you invest money, you're taking on the risk that your investment will be worth less in the future, in return for the possibility that it will be worth more in the future. The risk of investment comes from the uncertainty of the future outcome or future value. If the future was determined and we already knew the outcome, there would be no risk and therefore no reason to diversify. Diversification is essentially a tool to hedge against uncertainty. As a tool, diversification reduces the risk that you face in your investments, but it also guarantees that you will receive a lower return on those investments. By definition, diversification will reduce your returns. It will not maximize your returns. Diversifying your portfolio is effectively the same as averaging out all of the positions in your portfolio, essentially dampening the effect of any single stock on the performance of your entire portfolio. So while diversifying does reduce the risk that you will lose all your money, it also caps the performance of your portfolio. If you own 100 stocks and one of them goes bankrupt, it's kind of okay because the other 99 stocks could go up 1% and then you've already recouped the losses from your one stock that went bankrupt. However, if you only have one stock and that one happens to be the one that went bankrupt, well, now you've lost all your money. So that's not good. On the flip side, imagine a world where you had all the information possible, so much so that you could predict the future exactly. You know exactly how a stock will perform, exactly how much it will cost on which date. In that case, you wouldn't need to diversify your stock picks. You know exactly which one stock would perform the best, and you would buy every single call option available on that stock. Because you know for sure, 100%, exactly which stock will yield the highest returns. There's no reason to diversify because there's no uncertainty. You simply put all your money into the investment that will do the best. But the real world doesn't work like that. No one has 100% certainty. And without 100% certainty, there is risk involved in any investment. At least at the moment, it's not possible to predict the stock market. And if you can, actually just, hit me up, send me a DM. Let's make some investments together. So just to reiterate, diversification is a tool, one that helps us hedge against uncertainty and decrease risk by averaging our performance across multiple stocks instead of just one. We use diversification to hedge against uncertainty. In an imperfect world where we do not know the future or the outcome of the stock market, this is the best we can hope for. So diversification makes the most sense for people who do not have the time or expertise needed in order to increase the chances of picking the right stocks. This is what Buffett is saying. He's saying that most people don't have enough information to make decisions about which stocks will perform the best in the future. And if you're uncertain about which stocks will perform well, you should diversify. That's what Warren Buffett is saying. Most people aren't informed enough about the companies behind the stocks that we're buying to know how well a stock will perform over the long run, hence the suggestion. Perhaps a more clear rule of thumb should be the less certain of the outcome you are, the more you should diversify. Another important factor that we haven't gone over is risk tolerance. And this will affect how much you should diversify your portfolio as well. Your risk tolerance should help you determine how diversified your portfolio should be because it's a spectrum. If you had infinite risk tolerance and were trying to maximize your returns, you would simply pick one stock, put all your money into it, and hope that it did well. Likewise, if your risk tolerance is near zero, you would do pretty much everything you could not to lose your money. You would likely choose a strategy that will reduce your potential returns. But in doing so, you would choose a strategy that would be damn near certain you won't lose all your money. The main takeaway I hope that you have thus far is that there's a big difference between absolutely maximizing your returns and practically maximizing your returns for you. If you want to absolutely maximize returns, the only thing you have to do is focus all your energy on picking the right stocks, right? Have an infinite risk tolerance, which is, by the way, not that achievable, and put all your money into one thing that you think will have the best returns. But that's not very practical. For most people, that's not an investing strategy or an approach that will work because no one wants to put all their money on the line for a guess, essentially. So if you truly want to maximize your returns for you in a practical world, there's two things you can do, right? Number one is increase your risk tolerance so that you're comfortable betting more money on your investments. And number two is to increase the certainty that you have that your stock picks will perform. Right? That's through fundamental analysis and value investing, right? Finding companies that are good companies, good investments, ones that you're much more certain will do well in the long run. If you do those two things, you should be able to maximize returns for you based on your risk tolerance and your expertise. But truthfully, most people don't have the time or expertise or energy to invest like this. Most people can't pull this off. Because while it will maximize your returns, it also has the highest risk of losing money too. This is why Warren Buffett suggests what he does. But also keep in mind that Warren Buffett is biased. He wants you to buy his Berkshire Hathaway stock. Based on my stage of life and my personal risk tolerance, my strategy is to diversify on a high level across many different income streams and asset classes. But within each of those, to go really deep and focused in each of those domains. So diversified, high level, low level, extremely focused. For example, I have investments in stocks, crypto, ETFs, real estate, and early stage angel investments. Each asset class has their own benefits. And this is a much more shielded approach to diversification than just picking stocks in different industries. When the economy has a downturn, like we're experiencing now, most stocks correlate anyway. The cool thing about investing across multiple asset classes is that they perform differently, and therefore, in my opinion, protect much better against loss than just straight up diversifying in the stock market. The second benefit of this strategy, of course, is maximizing returns. Again, returns will never be as good as going all in on a single stock or investment, whatever one has the biggest return. But by focusing investment instead of diversifying within each asset class, I can try to maximize my returns within that asset class while enjoying the high level diversification that we discussed before. I'm not sure if this is the best strategy for me or for you, but I think that if you're this early in your career, like I am, and you have a lot of time where you can experiment. When you're young is a really good time to get a high-level overview of many different types of asset classes. So that later on, once you've developed confidence and competence in investing, you can double down on the areas that you know will perform.